Hello, everyone. How's everyone? How are you guys doing? It's Sunday again. It's come around really quickly. I don't know why it's coming around quickly. It just feels like it wasn't that long ago we were doing this. It's come around really quickly this week. But how's everyone doing? I've got a little bit of information this week. Not a lot, because I don't think there's a lot going on at the moment. So we'll get onto that in just a minute. And yeah, so as everyone's doing, my last week in the office was this week. So I'm going to be completely focused now on the award ceremony. I've got different styles of awards coming as well. So for each category and stuff, they're going to be sort of a different a sort of different style of award, if you know what I mean. They're all not going to be the same sort of thing. So it's yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So I'm going to be full pelt this week. This is the last week as well for voting, so make sure you get your votes in. And that finishes on the 9th of December. So that's when I'll be tallying up everything, and we'll be all going ahead with that. It's 2 weeks away from live week, which is what I'm going to be coining it as now. Where I'm going to be doing a live stream every day. So it's more than 2 weeks away. I don't know what's going on. Why? Why did I think that? It just seems to be weird. It's just a weird time at the minute. Let's do some of the chat. Hi Jay, how's it going? Good evening. Ian, how's it going, fella? All right. And Scott as well. Hi Scott. It is nearly Christmas. I can't believe how quick it's coming around. And before you know it, it'll be here. It all seems to creep up, doesn't it? It really does. Hi Neil, how's it going? Nice to have you here. And Dave, hi Dave, how's it going? All is really well, thank you, Ian. Yeah, really well. Evening, Kevin. Oh, hi John, how's it going? And Greg as well. Hi Greg. What are we voting? New for you guys? It could be. It could be. It really could be. Cool. Get on and vote. Get on and vote. It's going to be a great fun night. Yeah. Hi Kev, where'd you vote? Ian, I've put you as a monetizer for the channel, so you can actually now put the links in. Yeah. I've been on it this week. I've sort of come off of work and I've gone, I need to do it. There was a problem actually with doing that, so I wanted to make some of you guys moderators for the channel. For some reason it wouldn't allow me, but this week when I tried to fiddle about with it, I've done something, it worked. So yeah, if you can, Ian, that would be great. Kirsty's also on there, and Jay as well. So there's a few people on there. Mark, I think, is one of them. So if you could put a link, that would be really cool. Because I can't do that on the device I've got. I'm doing this on my phone, and my laptop is over there somewhere. So yes, but yeah, how's everyone's week been? Like I said, it was my last week in the office. Yeah, a very surreal 4 weeks that was for me. It really was. Just strange going back into the office again, and then sort of interacting with people and stuff like that. It's yeah. There were some good bits and bad bits about it, but yeah, I'm all focused now, completely focused on that live week. I'm going to be doing something every day that week live, so just to get you all into the mood and everything else. No news on. In a way, I bet it's nice to be home again. Yeah, it is, but it was also nice to like interact with a few different people, and yeah, but I probably did less work there than I would have done at home, just because there's lots of distractions and stuff. I've had a rubbish month. I know, you've really missed me being at home. I know. I'm home now. Not 100% part work related, but does anyone know a good Border for 1.8 bicycle models. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is, Greg, somewhere. I'm sure there's a company that builds 1.8 bicycle. Well, I don't know actually. It's an interesting one. So 1.8 scale. Just before we get onto some of the news, 1.8 scale is a unique scale to Partworks. Normally, there's different. There's 1.6, which is 1.6 scale or 12-inch, which is like a standard big size scale, and then there's there's obviously the lower end of that. But 1.8 scale is a very unique Partworks scale. You'll notice that there's not a lot of stuff out there apart from the Partworks stuff that is 1.8 scale, and it's quite difficult to get figurines and sort of stuff made for. I mean, if you've got a 3D printer, oh yeah, you could have really good fun with making some 1.8 scale stuff. It might be worth approaching someone with a 3D printer that could print something like that off for you. That would be good. But I don't know. I'm afraid I don't know. So sorry, Greg, I couldn't help you with that. Yeah, so there's been no news really. We know that the next build from Hachette to be released is the Tumbler, and that comes out just after Christmas, 28th of December. So I would imagine around Boxing Day, you might start seeing some advertisement for that, or even before then, probably. So, but yeah, there was that. I don't know. I know Agora have got some other things in the pipe work. I know Wayne's going down there, or has been down there, and he's done a video, so it'd be interesting to see what they've come up with. I think it's still going to be a vehicle. You know, it's moving away from all of that sort of stuff. The genuine sort of vehicles, anyway. But I know that they're big commodities out there, and there's a chance for all those models to come out and stuff like that. I know that, you know, the Subaru, I'd love, you know, I know lots of people would love to do the Subaru Impreza, and the Lancia Delta as well would be another one. But on those sort of news, I just found out in the last sort of 5 hours, I would say, someone contacted me because they've been in contact with IXO and with their collections and stuff like that, and they've let me know that the Peugeot 205, the 205 build, is probably going to be your last chance to grab that build. And the reason is because they've been informed that IXO are not going to do another restock of boxes 1 to 5. So once they've run out, they won't be restocking it. I don't know whether it's just because it's too much money, not enough people doing it. But if you haven't done it and you've been putting it off, it's probably your best and only chance now to grab that. So I don't know how many. We don't know how many boxes they've got of each stage, or whatever, how many boxes they've got of each. But we do know that boxes 1 to 5 they will not be restocking. So it'll be interesting on how that goes, with if anyone has any problems with those parts and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be very interesting. But yeah, so I just found that out about 5 hours ago. So yeah. Hi Peter, how's it going? Any other scale then? I would imagine you could easily get a 1/6 scale one, definitely. But I wouldn't know where to start. There's probably loads. I mean, if you tried Googling or something like that, that's normally a good start. But yeah, I'm sure there's a company out there that doesn't. I am certain of that. Greg, yeah. But yeah, so if you haven't done the Peugeot yet, it's probably your best chance to try and get that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's never going to be available again. You know, you've got all these other companies, they could come along and buy it. Remember, IXO or PCT are the manufacturer of that build, so they could be approached by, you know, Agora or Hachette or anyone like that for them to do it. because it's one of their own builds. But yeah. So if you haven't done that, your chances up, and you need to get on that pretty sharpish, I would say. A Subaru, 100% count me in. Yeah, I mean, I think it's coming out, isn't it? Or it's already just come out in Italy or Germany or somewhere like that. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good car, a nice one. IXO are offering the Pug as a full kit build. Right. Okay. So that may be the only way you collect it from now, because I know they did the subscription service. So maybe that's why. Maybe they're sort of saying, well, we're not going to do the subscription side anymore. You can only buy it as a full build now. Maybe that's why. But yeah, but like I say, I've just been told in the last couple of hours that they're not producing boxes 1 to 5. I don't know how that would affect the full build. But it looks like it's only going to affect sort of if you want to do it monthly. So I'm wondering whether they're trying to move away from that sort of model, if you know what I mean. So only offer their kits as full builds instead of a monthly based scheme. Don't know. I've tried Google on bicycles yet, though I have asked the church community and Google later. yeah. But you know, yeah, I would imagine there's a company out there, Greg. I would imagine, but I don't know where. It's I'm surprised they haven't done a part work. To be fair, so I know it'd be very small part work, but you know, maybe doing a full build, that would be a good one to do, wouldn't it, on a bike? Have you looked at RC bikes, Greg? I was about saying like BMX or dollars for my size bike, nothing major. I would like to see more full builds. Following the Eagle Moss disaster, it's probably the way a lot of the companies are going to go. It probably might put a bit more confidence back on people as well. I think doing a full build, it's the price that I think puts most people off that. You know, doing it weekly or monthly, it means you're only having that sort of set amount, isn't it, each month? But with a full build, that could be a lot to ask for someone to pay outright straight off, if you know what I mean. But we'll see how that goes. I saying that they're going to do it as just a full build now. Probably that's the way that they're going to go with the Peugeot now. And yeah, I wish they'd bring out the Indian Springfield bike that's out in France. Yes, I think I've said this before, Scott. A lot of these companies bring out stuff that never go any further than France. There is a lot of stuff that doesn't ever make it over the border. But there's especially a lot of vehicles. I mean, the Citroen 2CV. I think in France there's like 6 builds of that right now, or has been. So that's a lot of builds of the 2CV. They love their 2CV, but none of that stuff's come over here. And I think it's the same with the Indian Springfield. I think it's something that might come out, but I doubt it. But never say never. Never say never. It was nice. I think it was a 1/6 scale, wasn't it, or 1/4 scale? I know it was a big scale one. Oh yeah, that India looks pretty nice. It does. Yeah, it was huge. I know that fact. I don't know whether it was 1/6 or 1/4 scale, but it was pretty big. I think it was 1/4 if I'm mistaken. My wife got me a RC scale Airfix Spitfire kit for Xmas. Lots to do. It's not Christmas yet. You'll have fun building that. Hi D, how's it going? Oh, did you say hi? I don't know, really. Oh, there. I can't believe I skipped over that. Sorry, I apologise. Hi D, how's it going? I almost didn't see you there. I'm scrolling down. Sorry about that. In Germany, the 1/4 scale Rossio is out currently. Valentino Rossio. No, the Yamaha. Okay, yeah. They do them in a big scale, don't they? That's a 1/4 scale, I think, as well, isn't it? Or 1/6. Yeah, they sort of do them on a bigger scale. But you can actually get a lot of like figurines at 1/4 and 1/6 scale. So, and they do a lot of stuff as well. I know in Germany they do. They're big on their 1/6 scale, like World War II figures or military figures. You can buy so much stuff, scenery, all that sort of stuff in 1/6, very easy. So, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff out. Don't worry, Kev. The word Xmas puts most people off. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It really does, yeah. Is 1/4 scale. Yeah. They tend to go a bit bigger for the bikes, don't they? I think if they did one in 1/8 scale, it would be too small. They seem to do big models and smaller, and the smaller ones bigger, if you know what I mean. So like the fire engine and the Routemaster they've done as a smaller scale, and their cars are at 1/8, but motorbikes seem to be 1/4. So they're like beefed up, which is cool. Well, with the motorbikes, I'd imagine there would not be much point for doing a smaller than 1/4. Yeah. Unless they did multiples, if you know what I mean. Unless you're building more than one. But yeah. Obviously, blowing up gives you more to do engine-wise, panels, suspension, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it'd be a big ask, wouldn't it, if it was in 1/8 scale and everything was a little bit smaller. Yeah, I was fortunate to have bought this a couple of years ago. Yep. I must get my butt in gear, as I've got 12 issues of the Citroen 2CV to do and 4 more on the way. You'll get there, Jay, don't worry. I know they really love their Citroens out once, but it's one of those builds that never comes out over here. Germany, they do builds just for the German market, just for the French market, just for the Italian market, and normally they don't come out over here. If you look at all the builds that have ever come out, you'll notice that actually there is quite a lot that doesn't ever make it here. And one of those, actually, I've got to say, is the Starsky and Hutch, the Gran Torino. I'm really surprised that hasn't come out yet. And that was tested about 2 years ago. It was a while ago when that came out as a test. And yeah, it's just never come out. Never been out over here. Ian, New York fire truck is weirdly too small when built. I think that's the general senses of it. I mean, you know, that was a re-release. That was a build that came out in Italy a couple of years ago. But it is small. I mean, they have got the Ferrari Transporter that's been out in Italy. I think they've just tested that in France. That's also, I think it's the same scale as the fire truck. And in the obviously a trailer, you get your work bay, and it opens up. You build 2 F1 cars that go in there, and the truck as well, lights and sounds. But like you said, I think a lot of people have found it good, but a bit small. I think we're too used. I think we've been spoilt, I think, in terms of size. And then when something comes a bit smaller, like the fire truck, we're sort of like, oh. I mean, the Routemaster, even though that's not a big scale, it still feels big, and it looks amazing. Where I think the fire truck fails slightly because it's even smaller than that. But you're right there. I think a lot of people didn't like it. I've had the same concern, I should say, that it's a bit small. But yeah. Hi, Carol. How's it going? Hi, Carl. Everyone's doing great. I hope you're doing well too. Any news on the Exo's website to finish over Eaglemoss bits? That's interesting because last time I spoke with Todd and he spoke to them, the census was that it was only going to, they were just waiting, and it would only take a couple of days. And obviously that's what we both reported on, and nothing. And that was 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And nothing's really happened about that. So I don't know. I think it's still something legal. I think the website is done. I think everything's ready. But everything obviously needs signing off and signing before they can actually push the go button. And I think that is where we're at now. And I think that's the only reason, because like I said, when we spoke to them last, they said the new website, they're doing the finishing touches on the website, should be up and running in a couple of days. That was a couple of weeks ago. Maybe they meant a couple of weeks, but like I said, that was a couple of weeks ago. I would imagine that something will be announced before Christmas, but don't hold me on that. I would like their something to be mentioned before Christmas, but we do know that they have a website, a new one coming out, and it does include the builds from Eaglemoss that they've acquired. We just don't know how many builds that they've acquired. We're more than certain that it's definitely the Enterprise and definitely Ecto 1, but they may have acquired a few other ones. I think they're just waiting to push the button. But like I said, they did say to us, they did communicate to us to say in the next couple of days. That was a couple of weeks ago, and we're still waiting. So hopefully, fingers crossed, in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully. It's out, but not here. Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. I didn't like the New York fire truck. Looks too much like a toy. Yeah, I think it comes off like that. I think that because of the size of it. I think the people that have built it like it. It's got a lot of detail. But I think it suffers from the size. I just think it suffers, and I don't know why it never went any further than Italy when it came out originally, because it never went to France or Germany or anywhere. It was just ever done in Italy, and it never went any further. So I'm wondering whether they sort of saw their mistake and went, we should have done it bigger, and left it. But the tooling's already there, so it would have been easy for a company to come along and take over, just like Agora have. So yeah, I agree. At the scale it is, it's no bigger than a toy. It needed to be bigger. It's not value for money. No, and I think that's another thing as well, Ian. It's not. It's the same price. We brought this up when it first came out. It's. I've discussed it on here. I think we discussed it on the live stream. Where a lot of people were saying it came out at the same time as the Routemaster. You had the Routemaster and the fire truck. Both cost the same price. And I said then, and I'll say it now: always go for the Routemaster. It's a great build, absolutely great build. But also the scale wise of it, you were getting your money's worth with the Routemaster over the fire truck. But I remember a lot of people asking me about it at the time, and I said Routemaster because I'd only built the Routemaster, so I could only say the Routemaster was definitely the one to go for. But price wise, it was also the one to go for as well, and scale wise as well. There is something though I want to just point out quickly with the Routemaster. Now, when it first came out, they did say, Agora did say that they wouldn't be including the character figures, and they said that they would include them later on. There would be an ability to buy them at the end of the build. But that hasn't happened. So I don't know if they are going to ever build them again, but I know a lot of people that have built it and now have finished it have said that they would love the figures for it because it makes it sort of come alive slightly. And because Hachette doesn't produce it all anymore, they're quite hard to come by. I remember when it first came out, when I first built it, lots of people were selling the figures. They didn't want them. Agora never gave you the option not to have them. They just didn't include them, which is fine because that took up an issue when we were building it through Hachette each week. One of the issues would be a figure. And they took them out. But they did. I remember when they first brought it out, they did say that there would be the ability to buy the figures at the end of the build. I don't know whether they will do. I know it's just finished, but I'm surprised that they haven't said. And I know especially looking on the Facebook groups, that there is a lot of people asking how to get hold of the figures and where to get them from. So I just wanted to say that as well. Size matters with part works. It surely does. It really does. In Italy, I've seen the Iveco truck as well, that I haven't seen anywhere else. France had the Citroen camper van as well. Yeah, there. I'll tell you what. There was. If you look, Greg, at all the part works that came out everywhere, not very many make it here. Not very many. I understand why as well. So I think they did a couple of part works in places like Russia and places like that, and they had larders and things like that. Obviously, native vehicles to their own country. Things like the Fiat. I know they did a Fiat 500 in Italy a long time ago, but it only sold there. It's the same with the 2CV. I'm wondering whether they think that selling the 2CV in France is a good thing. French car, very genetic, but it wouldn't sell anywhere else. It was one of the main reasons why I think Hachette never released the Routemaster outside the UK, because they thought it wouldn't sell very well. Same with the Eddie Stobart truck. I don't think that would sell as well as it would in the UK, if you know what I mean. And I think that's why it will always be a UK build. I'm quite surprised actually that Agora haven't picked that up. But they did do this with the Routemaster as well. The Routemaster came out. They had an agreement with Hachette around the time the Terminator came out. They did the Terminator straight away, but the Routemaster took a lot longer. And I'm wondering whether they're going to do the same with the Stobart as well, the Stobart. But yeah, I know that the Routemaster is iconic, and it's known worldwide. But there's a reason why I think that they don't market these things in other places. Yeah, all good. Thanks. Just finished 91, 93. Vireman, nearly there. Yeah, nearly there. I think there's only 2 packs left or 1 pack left. I think there's 1 pack after that, isn't there? And he's finished, because I think the last pack is the extra pelvis to have him in the superhero pose is what they call it. So it's the other hip, I do believe. So I think it's actually complete around that issue, I think, or is it just before? I think it's just after that. I know there's the 4 issues before it finishes. It's complete. And then I think it's the last 2 issues, the last couple of issues. It's just the extra pelvis, I think. But yeah, nearly there. Various problems with the website, they have said, by the end of November. There you go. Mark knows. Starsky and Hutch is out in France only. Yeah. Yeah. The Gran Torino, they did do a test run here, because I never saw the test run, but Mark said it definitely had a test run here. Mark Mods. And and then in the end I did find out it did have a test run here in the UK, but I think that was nearly 2 years ago. I think it was like this time last year maybe, so it's like 2 years away. So I'm very, very surprised. It came out the same time they did the test run for the other tank that Hachette were planning on bringing out, which is, I think it's the King Tiger tank. I think that's what it was. But once again, that's not materialized. But like I said, the companies are they don't close their eyes. They know what's happening in the world right now, and they know that global pressures and money and all of that. So, maybe they're thinking, maybe they're sort of picking and choosing specific builds to bring out that will do better than others. And maybe they thought that wouldn't do as well, or it just didn't do very well on the test stage to come out over here. But yeah. The domain company that they are using are not giving them what they have asked for, and they are trying to iron it out. Right, so that's with IXO. What Mark's going on about there is the IXO, the new website. Yeah, we didn't go into too much detail, but it was mentioned that it would be up and running. I would expect it to be up and running before Christmas, which is what we thought. They did say, Todd, in the next couple of days, but like I said, other things crop up. Mark's just pointed that out. But before November, the end of November, which is in it's not that long away. It's in a couple of days. So hopefully we'll have some information. It'll be cool. Fair enough when it comes to something very specific, but the 2CV was popular in a lot of countries. It was a popular car here as well, funnily enough. The same along the same lines as the Volkswagen Beetle as well. That's also come out in other countries. Many different versions of that has come out as well. Nothing's ever like that's turned up here. Though that was a popular car here, and like you're saying, 2CV was. But I'm wondering whether they think it weren't popular enough for them to sort of get it over the hurdle, if you know what I mean, to get it to that final push. And then they do a test run on it, and if that doesn't generate enough interest, they just don't bring it out. So maybe they did try once, but there just wasn't interest there. The Route Master is out in Germany, though. Oh, what? If it's for Agora, I know Agora, they do worldwide shipping, I think. So Agora will send it anywhere. But I don't. Is that through Hachette though? Maybe they're sort of wondering maybe they could sell it out elsewhere. Night LC saying, cheers, John, for dropping by. See you later. They need to be a central hub. Maybe folks can cherry pick any of the partwork builds globally and pay a little premium for delivery service worldwide. Yeah, do you know what? I mean, I order the stuff from the French side, which is effectively like the French sort of news agents, and they do everything on there, all their magazines, all the partworks, everything. So it's like an online news agent, and I know there's some places like that in the UK. Not really, not a central one that does lots of partworks, and I'm really surprised there isn't at least a company out there that supplies just partworks, just does, you know, that they get the parts from, if you know what I mean. So instead of like this, so you know, each week you can pick up your Fast and Furious ones, but also do that with ones that don't offer it weekly. So ones that, like, say through Agora or somewhere like that, or Fanhome, and offer it as a weekly subscription instead of a monthly one, but through a different company, if you know what I mean. So you can buy individual issues. Yeah, it's just nothing like that about. I wonder if someone's tried and it just isn't worked out, maybe. But I'm really surprised there isn't a company out there that does that. You know, because I know that some people struggle to get it from the news agents. So I'm wondering why there isn't a central news agent hub where you can sort of go to, like the French one, but a UK one. Because the French one, they will post worldwide. So, yeah, if you're in the States or something like that, you can get it from France. You know, so there isn't a problem there. But from the UK, there isn't really one up. I'm just surprised maybe we're missing out, or anyone who wants to do that could step in the shoes. There's definitely a market there for it, 100%. They are doing exclusive cards to the country. They should maybe do a London Black Cab. Yeah, for us. Yeah, there was. I mean, originally when the Route Master was originally came out through Hachette, there was discussions on doing a black cab. So it was either a black 1960s taxi or the Route Master, and they went with the Route Master. And the taxi never went past the sort of planning stage. So when they went in for the meeting to do the planning, what's the next build, all this sort of stuff, you know, the black cab was there, and so was the Route Master, but they felt the Route Master would have done a bit better than the black cab. But it doesn't mean that they're never going to do one. It just means there's options there, isn't there, really? So yeah. I want to see helicopter Chinook part work. They've done, I think they've done an Apache part work. They've never done a Chinook one. And then it comes, once again, that's the sort of thing that comes down on size, because a Chinook is really big. And then it's not only that, the main body of it is quite open, if you know what I mean. There's not a lot going on in the body of it. So maybe someone said that there wouldn't be enough there for them to do one or something like that. I don't know. It comes down to size. It comes down, if they do that, you know, how much, you know, how popular that would, or something like that would be. I think it'd be a good build, and I'm not disputing that someone wouldn't do that. But it's having the space. Now it's, you know, it's not only big, but you've got to think of the rotors as well. And you know, space is a premium at the moment, and I know space is a big thing for people. But I think a Chinook part work could be good. I know they've done an Apache one because I've seen that, and I know that they've done a military helicopter collection as well, where they've done military helicopters, like they've done planes, military fighter jets, and stuff like that. So yeah. Imagine a 1/8 scale Chinook. Jeez. That would be big. That would be big. That would be huge. Just because it would be oversized. You got to think how big the cargo hold is in it. It's big enough to put a 2CV in it. So if you built a 1/6 scale, a 1/8 scale 2CV, it would be able to go into the 1/8 scale Chinook. That's how big we're talking now. You know, like the Willys Jeep, you'd be able to go into the Willys Jeep of it. You'd be able to put the 1/8 scale Willys Jeep into the Chinook itself. When you talk like that, you can just imagine how big it would be. It'd be huge, really big. F-14 Tomcat would be awesome. Yeah, do you know, it's one of the military stuff where, you know, when you discuss your military things, I'm really surprised that obviously they've done the Spitfire, which is fantastic. They're doing the Lancaster. I'm surprised they haven't thought about doing the Harrier jump jet. I'm really surprised, because I think that would be a really good build, or the Vulcan. You know, those sort of builds would be really, really good, and I think a lot of people would love those sort of things. Even the Chinook as well. Or maybe, you know, a global master, should I say? You know, or Hercules or something like that. Some big aircraft, you know, not in 1/8 scale, because I think that would be too big, but in a decent enough scale, I think they could do it. RC it even better. Yeah, I think they do, and I think I've seen an RC Chinook on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure there's a video out on it, because there's a lot of RC builders and stuff that love building helicopters and planes and stuff. So Hashtag Germany has the Route Master. They even have German dubbed it advert for it. Oh right, okay, that's interesting. I know it's a global brand. I know the Route Master. I mean, and the Black London cabs are as iconic as the yellow cabs in America. And it's known worldwide, so I'm really surprised why they never went full out for that. But you know, what their loss is Agora's gain, isn't it, really? So a Chinook with 1/8 scale, it would be, that's how big it would be if you stuck a Willys Jeep in. I mean, that's what they could carry. The cargo hold's very big, and I think you could fit 2 Willys Jeeps, and they're probably even 3. But if you do a 1/8 scale one, that's got to accommodate that. So it would be, well, it'd be so big. And not only would it be really big, I think if they did it in die cast, it would be incredibly heavy. So that sort of thing would probably work best in plastic. But then, you know, how does that work with Partworks? Because, you know, most stuff is die cast. So. But yeah, like I said, I'm really surprised that they haven't done more military builds, if you know what I mean. I mean, the Spitfire was good, disaster at the end. The Lancaster that they've done a test run on, and I think that done very well as a test run. But that's like old stuff. I think a lot of people would like more modern stuff. So I'm really surprised that they haven't done, like I said, the Vulcan or the Harrier for the UK anyway. You know, and then you got the F-14s and stuff like that. All that sort of stuff, I think globally would do very well if a company have done that. But yeah, it's getting that phase. It's getting to that phase, isn't it? It's sort of going. This one would work better. I mean, the Bismarck did very well, but then what other military ships could you do? I mean, there's lots out there, but are they as well known as the Bismarck? You know what I mean? You know, the only other one that comes to mind is the aircraft carrier, the Enterprise. But I mean, there's loads, isn't there? I mean, you could list stuff all day, but it's how other people would want that. I'm really also surprised I know that they did in Germany, but they haven't done for the UK, which is a submarine. I'm surprised they haven't done a submarine with panel sections that you could take out, so you're building the interior as well. A bit like what they're doing at the moment with the Titanic. Yeah. For example, Cinnabat was a German car, but popular in East Europe. It was test run in Hungary, then sold in Germany. I know, and now it's out in Hungary and Poland for now. Yeah, yeah, but you'd never get the turbine released here in the UK. And it's the same. I've seen a Lada as well. So they did come out in the UK, but were a joke. And I know that they're really popular in places like Russia and Ukraine and stuff like that. And but they're not. I don't know if that would do any well outside. Just like I think they've same with the Fiat 500. I know they've done the Fiat 500 for the Italian market, but they sold them all worldwide. I've seen Fiat 500s here. Nice little small car. But yeah, they've never done them outside. And like I say, I think it's because they were sold globally, but I think more Italian people would build it over English, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I would have backed my daughter to display a big Chinook. That's yeah, you're going. Why? I need your room to build the Chinook. One Excalibur F 117 would be a nice one too. Better yet, a Boeing 7. Oh Jesus! Now that would be big. But that's what I mean. You know, even a Boeing 747 or a Concorde, those sort of iconic aircraft that have obviously now been retired, but everyone knows them. And I'm just surprised that Apartment haven't sort of jumped on that, because I think those sort of things would be really, really good. But in doing a Boeing, wouldn't it would just become tedious, a bit like the Routemaster over the chairs. You know, you would get a couple of chairs and then the backs. I wonder whether like a Boeing you'd get little chairs. Just how many chairs you'd be building would be really sort of like, I'm getting a bit bored with chairs now. You know. But I'm really surprised I haven't done anything like this. I still have to start the 28 issues on Titanic at some point. You'll get there eventually. You'll have a little bit of a build session there, Peter. Germans were better with their submarines back in the day, so they were like, "You vote for me." Okay, yeah. I personally would love the Keaton, should I say, Batmobile. And the Eaglemoss version. Yeah, well, the Eaglemoss version was talked about in a lot of videos. If you've seen any of the videos that were done with Ben Robinson, who was like the designer at Eaglemoss, he said the tooling is done for the 66 Batmobile, but it was getting the license to do it, which was the issue. And that's why, and they were this close on releasing it. They had the stock in their warehouse and it just collapsed. But because it's been tooled already, it would be easier for someone to come along and say, I'd like to do that. And then all you'd have to do is acquire the license. You wouldn't have to pay any money to tool that, because all the tooling's done for it already. The Keaton Mobile would be quite good. And they could, that's a really good build actually, because they could, you could have a case that goes over the top, the armor case over the top, and to build a turbine at the front as well would be really cool. But I've watched Batman. I've seen all Batman Returns and all that sort of stuff. I still like Tumbler. It just screams out awesome and like a proper Batmobile in my eyes. But everyone I think has their own Batmobile, and though I grew up on things like the '66 Batman and stuff like that, I still prefer the Tumbler. It just looks more raw. It just looks meaner. It looks like a proper Batmobile. I know the Keaton one was really good, and you had the Calvin Klein one as well. Calvin Klein. The Clooney one. That's it. Blah, blah. Clooney. George Clooney. What am I on about? The Clooney version as well. That would have been a really nice one actually, because that had a lot of sort of parts that glow blue, and that would be quite good all lit up. I think lit up blue. I think that would be quite nice. But the Tumbler for me, yeah. But yeah, A380 Airbus would be a good test for building chairs. Yeah, yeah, it would. Yeah, Greg agrees. Imagine the number of chairs issues with the A380 build. It'd be mad, wouldn't it? They would have to supply more than Don't give them ideas. That's what I'm just going to say. Right? Don't give them ideas, because it's the sort of thing that they go, oh, actually, they bring it out, and then you get 2 chairs in each issue. I just imagine how long you'd be building that. And then the number would be in over the 200 mark, wouldn't it? It'd be mad. But I've said this before with a lot of it. We sort of moan and complain about the amount we get each issue, about what we build. But at the end of the day, when it's finished and done, all the blood, sweat, and tears is done. We love it at the end of the day. It's a really strange thing. I've sort of cursed a little bit over the Alien build, and people have seen it. But same with the Terminator, really. I mean, people said they had problems with obviously the fingers, the teeth as well, the ball joint on the arm. But despite everything, it's turned out really well, and I think the Alien's going to be that as well. Though it has its problems, and it has been a bit of a nightmare on occasions, I think the end result will make up for all the crap that we went through with it. And that's the same with a lot of my builds that I've done. Even with the DeLorean, even though it has some flaws like the flux capacitor and the Christmas tree and all that sort of stuff, and the EL wire that runs around it and all that, at the end of the day, it's a really good build, and it looks absolutely marvelous as well. And you're happy that you built it, sort of thing. So mind-numbing. Yep, I think it would hold. It would be a hold my beer man in the office. I don't stop giving them ideas, because you know what, they will see this and they'll be like, that's what we're going to do. It'll be like, oh God, we've done a few chairs here, and I'm like, hold my beer, let's do this. Been offered good money for my TR handler, but couldn't part with it. Yeah, I can't part with mine. It's really good. They're all a labour of love. I haven't got rid of any of my part works that I've built. The simple reason is I just like them. I mean, I wouldn't put all that money and all that time in building it sort of just to get rid. I understand why people do. Of course I do. But yeah. I've done this with many collections before. The wrestling belts. I used to collect Hot Toys, then stopped, then got back into them again. Transformers as well. I used to be sort of really into collecting my Transformer figures. Sold them all, sort of got some more now. So you do sort of in and out, especially with Hot Toys. I remember rebuying ones that I sold previously, and I've done that with my wrestling belts as well. Ones that I've sold years ago, I've then, like this one, I've then got back. And I'm now at a really good point now, actually. in life and that, you know, where I sort of see this and I'm like, you know what, if I sold that, I know I would end up buying it again. So there's no real point. There's no real point in selling it, because I know for a fact I'll probably end up getting it again. And that belt in particular, this is my second time buying it. Yeah, so yeah, I've gotten to the stage now. If I'm buying something, it's for keeps now. So yeah, but yeah. Oh, you wouldn't stop mentioning it. I denied building them, but finished. I love them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of them, some of the builds I've sort of just. I remember hurting my wrist doing the Route Master. So the rivets on the Route Master, all the little red screws. I remember really hurting my arm and my wrist doing those just like this all the time. And it's like, oh, I remember really hurting myself doing that. But the end result is awesome, and it's the same with all of my builds I've done. You know, we F and blind over it, and screaming, shout, and blood, sweat, and tears, and everything in between. But when it's finished, it's really weird when a part work finishes. So for me, it's a bit of, oh my god, I can't believe it, I've built this and it's here. So there's a bit of relief, and also though there's a bit of sort of dread as well, because it's you know, you enjoy doing it, don't you? Enjoy these builds, and then when it's over, you're kind of like, you know, what's next? You're sort of a little bit lost. It's probably why we keep building them, and why we're sort of like, oh, we're not. This is our last build, and then something else comes along and it drags us back in again. And yeah, there's all these sort of emotions going around when they're finished, you know. So yeah, the old WF would be amazing to get. If they did a part work, yeah, but I mean, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. They're not cheap to buy. But I mean, there's two over there as well, and I've got some upstairs. My wife's got some. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. I don't know how they would do them as a part work, but if they did, I'd be straight on it. The amount of times you sliced your hands open. I know the amount of times I've cut my hand, or I've been holding something like this and drill it and screwing, and the screwdriver has slipped straight in the hand. I've done all. You name it, I've probably done it with a part work. I remember holding the packet once as well. So I remember holding the packet down and cutting like this. I had my hand like this underneath it, and I remember cutting with a Stanley knife and slicing, cut on my finger as well. So, but like I said, you know, we get builds like this. So this is the next issue, which is out on the channel tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing this a little bit later. This is issue 59 of the Dodge Charger, and that's it. 2 bits that go on to the roll cage, and you know, that thing's cost me 10 quid. But I know for a fact that I'm gonna. Well, my wife is, because it's actually for my wife. That car is going to love that. So yeah, not Boddles, but I recently sold one of my mountain bikes and already regret it. I can't tell you, Greg, how many times I've sold stuff and regretted it almost instantly. So to give you a story, I collected Hot Toys not too long ago. About five years ago, I sold them all. But I had all of the Age of Ultron Hot Toys, all of them except the Hulkbuster. So I had all of them: Hulk, Vision, Quicksilver, everything. I had everything. I sold them to a really nice gentleman who's on YouTube, and he'd done a review on them all. He bought all of my Hot Toys, and some of them I regret getting rid of. And I know when I sold them, within about 2 weeks of selling them, 2 of them went up in price. But I was happy with the money at the end of the day, what I asked for. I got what I asked for. The guy was really happy. He's a really nice guy. He's on YouTube. He reviewed them all as well. He took them home and reviewed them all. But yeah, there was a few there that I regretted. Things like Quicksilver and Vision. About the time I sold them, there was rumours going around that they were going to release more, another version of them, or stuff like that. I know Quicksilver. He was rumoured to be in Infinity War or Endgame, but he never was. So the price for him went through the roof. And the same thing happened with Vision, another one. That Hot Toys, they were going to bring out a new one, but they never did. And so Hot Toys only ever did, at that time, the Age of Ultron version of Vision. And when it didn't come out through the Endgame and Infinity War, the price went sky high. And I said to my wife, if I only held on to those two for an extra month, I may have got a bit more money for them. But like I said, at the end of the day, I was happy that they went to a really nice home and they've been looked after. And the guy that I know, he's still got them, so they've been well looked after. But yes, I've regretted loads of stuff, selling stuff over the years. Cars as well. I've had proper cars where we've got them and then we've instantly gone, we love that car. Why did we ever get rid of it? We should have never. We've had this conversation a few times where we've got rid of a car and we've gone, why did we get rid of that car? It was a perfect car. Why did we ever get rid of it? But yes, I know what you mean. I've had an MCM Mercedes one truck there. I'm amazing. Sold it for a certain price. Now it's worth double. That's not making it. Yeah. It's just a ruck of the dice. But like I said, I'm very happy that they went and I got what I paid for them at the time. And it's sometimes not about the money. It's sometimes just, but I have regretted some stuff that I've sold, definitely. And like I said, I have sold stuff and then rebought it again. But I know people that have done the same. I know some friends of mine that have sold stuff and bought the same stuff 3 or 4 times over and over again. And each time they've rebought it, they've paid more than they previously bought it for. But I know people like that. So, yeah. But, yeah, it happens. It would be awesome to see an Evel Knievel bike. See, I mean, it sounds really good, but I don't know how well that would sell outside the US market. Though it was big worldwide, I don't know how well that would sell everywhere else, if you know what I mean. I regret selling my 98 Grand Cherokee. Amazing rig. Yeah, there's many cars that we've had that we've sort of just gone, wow, we should have really kept that. But you know what it's like. But anyway, look, I've come to the end. It's that time again. Thank you guys so much for coming on and supporting the channel. As always, I love talking to you guys. It's nice to air some stuff off and talk about stuff every Sunday. It's great. I love it. I love doing this. Also as well, make sure you vote. Voting closes the 9th of December for your favorite YouTuber, favorite company, favorite model. Go and check it out. And yeah, just do that. So tomorrow we've got on the channel tomorrow we've got the Dodge Charger. Tuesday it's the Alien build because it was out a little bit late this week, but it's not out late this week. And then Wednesday will be the Disney Dollhouse. Thursday will definitely be the Dodge Charger. And then Friday and Saturday we'll have a video out. I'll make sure I do something. But like as normal, guys, thank you. Good night. Have a nice week. I will be back here, same place, same time next week. So until then, guys, thank you very much for coming. And as always, we'll see you at the next video. Take it easy.